Good morning, gardening friends. It's Sunday, January 8th, and I thought I would just do a quick video today. Not too much to report, but a lot going on in the neighborhood. Paperwhites are still doing fine on the front porch. I do deadhead, so as soon as the flowers wither, I remove them because that's when they start really smelling bad. It's a way to have them smell a little fresher. And it is Primrose time. I bought one from my local grocery store yesterday. I get them every year. Love to look at them. Last year I planted them in my garden, and it turns out they will grow here. And planted it early in the spring, and it grew into a beautiful, lush green, leafy thing. And right about the time when it started getting warmer, slugs from all around the neighborhood. I had to beat them off with a stick and eventually lost the battle, and probably within about 2 nights, I was left with nothing but stubs. That's even after putting slug bait around it. So they will grow. I may try this year putting them in a pot on my deck, and maybe the slugs will be reluctant to climb up a pot. So we'll see this year. I'll keep you informed on that. Here's what's left of one of my amaryllis, and I've got another blossom. This particular one sent up 2 stalks at once. That one sent up 1 stalk. I cut it off, and the other stalk is coming up. Whew. Still a little nippy here. In the front yard, you can see when I made the potager, I grouped all my hyacinths in one clump, and they're starting to bloom. I just planted these paperwhites probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I got them on sale at the end of the season. Got more paperwhites in here, and you can see again, a clump of hyacinths. So they're all doing really well. You can see I cut the dead off of these plants in the front here, and they look lush and green, the agaves. And the one that died in the backyard, I think I'll take that little pup and try planting it. Here you can see what they get some speckled leaves, and the speckles will eventually get bigger and they'll fall off, but you'll notice the new growth doesn't have that. So again, the frost did okay by that. This looks pitiful. Hopefully it will come back. I'm pretty sure it will, because I still see some fresh green in the bottom of it. I planted some more paperwhites here this year, and they're starting to come up. There you see the hyacinths where I used to have the front of my bed. I made the bed more voluminous. Well, the African iris didn't make it all that well after all. It took about 2 or 3 weeks, and then they dried up. I believe they're going to be okay, but I will, because they're green at the base. There you can see the green at the bottom. But I'll probably take hedge trimmers to that eventually. But I'll let them stay as they are to help protect what's there. This doesn't look all that well, even though I protected it. This Satsuma kept most of its leaves. You can see just the ones on the very tippy top fell off. So this is on the west side of my house. And this palm I just tucked against the house. I didn't cover it. And it seems like it's doing well. It wasn't touched at all by the frost, or at least it wasn't impacted by the frost. And of course my little pansies are still blooming there. It's a little chilly today. Yeah, there's a lot of activity going on in the neighborhood. I don't know if you can see out at the street. After 30 years, they're fixing to put sidewalks in. And so, since I live right against the street, on the corner. I'm a little bit worried about what the side of my yard is going to look like when they're done putting the sidewalk in. The city has expert gardeners that come out. They have this thing that's like a lawnmower on an adjustable stick, and that's what they use to trim back the bushes that grow over the street, and it really shatters the heck out of the stems. But it is the city, so they're going to do what they're going to do, and I'll just have to clean up afterwards. I don't have much out at the street. I have a couple of crepe myrtles, which I need to prune back anyway. And then I've got this big oak tree, which is the city claims is theirs. And so I know they're not going to get too far into my bushes, but you never know. We'll see what happens. Oh, you can also see there's been a new development in our household. I went antiquing yesterday, and when I got in the car, my car wouldn't start. So someone jumped me off, and I've decided I'd go ahead and trickle charge my battery. It's been going for about 9 hours last night, and I just started it up again this morning. I'm not going to go anywhere today, even though I'm pretty sure it's just the battery. I've got a shop that I go to where I bought the battery from. They specialize in batteries, and I'll bring it to them to have them check it out. Here you can see the bananas that I cut down. And in this particular case, it looks like the center is still living, and it's going to push up growth from there. That's not always the case with bananas. Sometimes when you cut them down to the ground, like I did in the backyard, they send up little shoots on the side and don't come back from the stems that you cut back. But in this case, they're coming back from that stem. My creeping iris definitely got hit, but they're not dead. They're just gonna look terrible. And unfortunately, there's no easy way to clean that other than a pair of pruning shears, and you just prune each leaf off individually, because you can see there's fresh green coming along with it, with the dead stuff. So you can't just take hedge trimmers and cut it back. Camellias are still in bloom. This one's my favorite. These are Louisiana Iris, and they seem to like this location. I've tried them in a couple of other places, and this gets just enough sun for them to seem to like this spot. And those are 3-year-old Easter lilies coming up. I wanted to show this garden because I was going to go today and get some pansies for this bed, but I'll wait until after the battery's checked out. But here you can see hyacinths coming up from last year, and they're doing well. It looks like every one of them came up. I think I paid $1.25 for those, and they really, I love the smell. I probably cut a few and bring them in the house. I will keep looking at Walmart when they come out with the new ones, because what I'll do is buy another batch and put them in between these. Since these have come out and bloomed, I know where they are now. They only last typically about 3 or 4 years, and then they kind of just peter out. So what I like to do is, plant in between these so that next year those will come back and sort of just keep adding to them. Looks like one is missing right here. Oh, no, it's there. Let's see what else is going on here. I've got another one of the white camellias in bloom over here. I don't know the name of this one. And it looks like these buds are unharmed, so that's good. When this one blooms, I love this particular camellia because it has a scent of hyacinth. It's really the only camellia that I'm aware of. I went to a camellia presentation one time. That's how I heard about this. The name of the camellia is High Fragrance. Nobody carries it. You have to find it on the internet. The place where I got this went out of business. But it's It's a pink double flower, and again, it's scented exactly like hyacinth. It's a shame more people don't carry it. And this is I don't know all the different types of camellias, but this is a large saucer-shaped camellia. It's like about the size of your hand, so it has big buds. And as the song goes, I like big buds and I cannot lie. So I can't wait for them to bloom. And this is my yellow camellia. Its buds look okay. The one thing about camellias, if you start with the sasanquas, you can pretty much have camellias blooming, a camellia blooming, all winter long because they bloom at different times. Buds on that one look good. This one I know from experience. You can see how the buds are browned around the edges. I'd say this particular one, again, I don't know the name of, it is going to be damaged when it blooms. When the flowers open up, they're going to be a light pink with brown spots along the edges. But the only reason I really like this one is it has a sawtoothed edge on all of the individual petals. So it is an unusual camellia. More hyacinths here from last year. And some of those over here are the daffodils that I said I multiplied from the backyard. And I put them here and here. And I think that's about it for today. If you look out on the street, you can see all the little flags. So hopefully next week they'll be, well, I'm sure they're not going to be done with the sidewalk. They'll milk that job for probably about 4 months. But hopefully at least they'll start that. I just want them to be done by my house so I can pick up the pieces. But there you have it for it. I will remain positive in the meantime. Well, there's nothing you can do about it, so it doesn't pay to worry. I'll leave you with a picture of the potager. Have a good day.